How are embryonic stem cells used to grow artificial skin? By Katie Bennett and Robin Kim. First, here is some background information before we get to the growth of artificial skin. Stem cells. What is a stem cell? A stem cell is an undifferentiated cell that develops into specialized cells through a process called differentiation. What do stem cells become? Stem cells differentiate into many different types of cells, such as brain cells or liver cells. Stem cells can also produce more stem cells by the process of mitosis. How does the stem cell differentiate? A stem cell's DNA is arranged loosely and all of the genes are active. When a signal begins differentiation within the stem cell, it shuts down genes that are not required for the specific cell type being formed and lets the genes that are needed stay active, therefore effectively turning the cell into a specific type. Embryonic stem cells. Where are they found? Embryonic stem cells are found in cord blood. Cord blood is blood from a newborn child's umbilical cord. This blood must be collected within a few minutes of the child's birth. Why are they important? These stem cells can be used to treat many different ailments, such as cancers, immune and genetic diseases, and blood disorders that may develop later in the child's lifetime. This cord blood can also treat some of these ailments in certain family members. There is a 50% chance that they are a match for the blood. What are some issues? Without immune-suppressing drugs, the patient's immune system will recognize the transplanted cells as foreign and attack them if the recipient is not a 100% match. These images are of human embryonic stem cells. Mitosis. And here is a quick explanation of mitosis. This is how stem cells replicate to form more stem cells. There are 5 phases of mitosis, and after the 5th phase is completed, cytokinesis occurs. The first phase, and the longest phase, is interphase. This is where the cell spends most of its time going through its normal life processes. In prophase, the second phase, the chromosomes condense and begin to move toward the equator. Spindle fibers begin to form at the poles. In metaphase, the third phase, the chromosomes line up at the equator of the nucleus and the spindle fibers attach to the kinetochore. The fourth phase, anaphase, is where the centromere breaks and the sister chromatids move toward the poles. The 5th phase is telophase. The chromatids reach the poles and the nucleus reappears as the cell begins to divide. Cytokinesis is where the cell membrane splits or a cell wall forms between the 2 nuclei, creating 2 new identical cells. Artificial skin. What is artificial skin? Artificial skin is man-made skin, either by using cells or by creating an entirely artificial synthetic layer, though, in order to find out how embryonic stem cells are used to grow artificial skin, we don't need to know about the synthetic skin. How is artificial skin grown using embryonic stem cells? Fibrin, a protein involved in the clotting of blood, and agarose, a polymer found in seaweed, are combined with HWJSCs, or human umbilical cord Wharton's jelly stem cells. Wharton's jelly is a substance found within the umbilical cord. This combination was applied to skin in a membrane that secretes mucus, usually lining the nose, lungs, and digestive tracts, called mucosa. Researchers have said that HWJSCs have the potential to differentiate to oral mucosa in skin epithelial cells in vivo. Vivo is an experimentation using a whole living organism as opposed to a partial or dead organism. In continuation, researchers also say that HWJSCs could be an appropriate novel source for the development of human oral mucosa and skin in tissue engineering protocols. This means that the researchers are suggesting that this method could be an efficient way to grow skin and mucosa tissue. How can this method of growing artificial skin be beneficial? This method can lead to skin tissue being stored in tissue banks after it is grown. This allows burn patients immediate treatment instead of having to wait for new artificial skin to be grown from their own cells or someone else's cells, depending on how extensive the burns are. This artificial skin is used as skin grafts, or attaching skin over a wound so that it can heal. If skin stored in tissue banks could be used for immediate treatment, then the patient's recovery time will be shortened, as well as improve their chance of survival depending on how severe the wounds are. Here is the bibliography. Please excuse the red lines, and thank you for your time.